everyone, this is Elisa from Anaya's Toy Box Crochet, and I'm here to tell you what I've been up to. Thanks so much for coming. I do love showing off my makes, and I'm so happy that you come to see them. You can find me on social media as Anaya's Toy Box. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, and Ravelry. So what have I been up to today? Oh, not today, this week. I finished a couple things. I didn't make any amigurumi. Well, I started an amigurumi, I just didn't finish it. And I'm not going to show it to you this time. You'll see it another time. But anyways, let me show you what I have finished. I have been gravitating towards the easier, mindless projects, which is why my amigurumi is not finished and why I haven't worked on amigurumi. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the blanket. So I have become very, very enamored, obsessed with the pattern from Cozy Cottage Crochet, Hannah from Cozy Cottage Crochet, the Crochet Memories blanket. I just love it, and I love the fact that I'm making my yarn, I'll show you the back, my yarn more manageable, and that I'm using up every little bit of yarn and all that sort of stuff, and I've been making baby blankets out of it. So this is my Crochet Memories blanket. I finished it. It's got a border, and I made a tiny little mistake on it. Woo! Something got in my face. Anyways, I made a tiny little mistake on it. So as I was making this, like I mentioned last week, that I don't know what hook I was using before, but whatever hook it was not a 7mm hook, because these squares are smaller, which means I was using a bigger hook, probably an 8mm, I would assume, an 8mm. Anyways, so I'm working it up. I made it, instead of 5 by 6 like I used to, I thought I'll make it 6 by 7. And as I'm working on it, I'm like, 6 by 7 does not seem like the right width. 6 by 7 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would have ended here, and it just seemed a little on the small side to me. So I added a row here, and then I continued. So I think I was 3 rows in, because I make them by rows. So each row, like the bottom row, I'd make all the squares for the bottom row, and then I'd work on the top, on top of it, and then continue on, you know, until I'm done. But I think I was like on this row, the 3rd row right here, when I decided it needed another square. So I added these on the side, and then I continued working rows across. Anyways, when I got to row 7, I was like, okay, I'm done. And I stopped making squares, and I made the border, and then I weaved in some ends, and then lay it on my bed and found out it's a square. I made a 7 by 7 blanket. It's a square. It's still pretty. It's not a rectangle. I don't know what to say. I just did it. I think this is the most beautiful Crochet Memories blanket I have ever made. I did change the way I do the border. What I was doing here was I would I've been experimenting with the border since I've started it. What I used to do was single crochet across the square, okay, each of these little cubes, okay. I would do single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet, and I do it around the blanket, and then I would put 3 double crochets onto that space between the 2 single crochets. This time, and it would always turn out kind of roughly, so this time I decided I'm going to do chain 2, and I put 2 double crochets on top of the on the chain between the 2 single crochets, and it lays flat. It is gorgeous, not roughly at all. I used up not the entire ball of this, because I didn't feel like I had enough to go around for another row, so I used up as much as I could of this gray pink marled yarn. I forget what it's called, but it's from Premier Basics, as the border. And I did a whole lot of colors. I did finish quite a few of my working yarn, which is the point, and something I seem to be like really finding a lot of satisfaction in. the fact that I finished some balls of yarn or some of the working yarn, it gives me so much satisfaction. Anyways, I made this. Ooh, I wish I brought a water bottle with me. I'm thirsty. I'll probably pause it and go again. But anyways, I made this. I love it, except for the fact that it's a square. I don't know what it is about square blankets. I mean, I make them. I like them. But I just prefer a rectangular blanket. Saying this, you'll see what my whip is later. All right. So I finished this blanket. And I finished the shawl. Where was I last time I showed it to you? I was right here. So I started making the shawl. Now, I have made shawls with skinny cakes before. I think it's pretty beautiful. The shawl is really, really pretty. This is called the All Shawl. Her tension is way, way, way looser than mine. I used a J-hook on the DK yarn just like she did. And you see this border right here, this pineapple stitch border, takes up almost like, I would say, a third of the shawl in hers, and it doesn't in mine. So what it said, this is a free pattern, so I'm not giving away anything, but you'll do extended double crochets for 23 rows, and then you put the border. When I got to 23 rows, I was like, who's this gonna fit? A doll? And so I continued and continued until I got into a height that I thought was good. And then I started the border. This is not a huge shawl. It's okay. Oh, I missed an end. Almost finished. I missed it. We've done all the rest of the ends, but that's a knot right here found in the yarn. Anyways, it's not a huge shawl. It's beautiful though. I do like it. But it's small. Like, I didn't expect it to be this small. And I think one of the reasons it's small is because this extended double crochet is takes more yarn than other, like when I made previously, when I have made a skinny cake shawl, it was, I wasn't huge, but maybe medium sized, whereas this one is definitely on the small side. And I was sort of like, okay, it's on the medium side. That's a good size. I like it. It doesn't take forever to make, blah, blah, blah. But this one is definitely on the small size, and I think it's because of the extended double crochet takes more yarn. I also ended up, like I said, this border is not as big as I thought it would be. It's really pretty, but not as big as I thought it would be. I ran out of yarn. Now, this was not the last color. The last color was this dark purple, which I actually ended up cutting off because I knew I didn't have enough to finish this shawl with it. So I ended up I had a ball of paint box yarns that's DK, and I ended up putting it right here next to this because it doesn't look like it's not like any of the colors. It's close, but not like any of the other colors in this ball. But I felt like if I had kept the dark part, it would have looked really strange because it would have gone from dark to darker to really light. So I got rid of the dark parts and I ended this row with this yarn. I think it turned out nice. I am a little disappointed that it doesn't look like this pineapple stitch part is not as dramatic in my shawl as it was in the other shawl. I mean, that's what I loved about this shawl, like how dramatic the pineapple stitch part was. And it did not deliver. It's okay. It's a pretty shawl still. It's right here. It's not especially big. It's not quite a wingspan. It is what it is. All right. So I finished that shawl. That's 2 projects finished, and that's it. That's all I have that's finished. And then, I mean, I had already finished the Crochet Memories blanket when I decided, you know what? I have a lot of DK yarn. I should make one with the DK yarn. And so I started one. Ooh, I didn't finish a square. Yeah, let me just make sure I don't unravel anything. So I started one, with my DK yarn. So this is my DK working yarn. I don't have as much working yarn or working DK yarn as I do with my worsted weight or my 4-weight, mainly because I'm not making amigurumi with DK yarn. Not because I don't want to, I do prefer it. I just end up making it with 4-weight yarn or worsted weight yarn just because it makes it a bigger amigurumi. And so I'm not using this DK weight yarn for amigurumi, and so I'm not getting a huge amount left over. Like I try to use it, like when I'm making a shawl, I try to use it to completion, and when I'm making something, I try to use it to completion. Not that I always have, like this is from leftover from an amigurumi, but this is leftover for my cardigan that I made a while ago. Some of them are amigurumi, like this, where is it? The sparkly one. I don't see it. Oh, it's this one right here. This one is leftover from this dragon. It's Mandala Ombre Sparkle from this dragon that I made. So there are some that are, most of this is leftover, but I've had it for a very, very long time from amigurumi. But some of them is like right here. Then this is the leftover from this shawl or from other stuff. But anyways, I'm using it up. I'm finishing up. I think this blanket will finish up all my DK working yarn and then some. I'm enjoying it. I do enjoy making the CC stitch, especially when I'm watching something and I just watch and make it, and it's very little to keep track of and it's just fun. So this is what I have so far. Obviously I didn't weave in a single end in this. I will eventually, but I haven't yet. But that's it. That's what I'm making. Well, no, that's not it. But that's my crochet memories shawl. No, not shawl. Blanket. But then I decided, you know, I have this yarn. This is yarn that I've caked up. It used to be a bobbin, which I have the label right here. Let me take that out. It used to be a bobbin. Oh my gosh, these bobbins were such a bad idea. They were so hard to use. Caking this up took me forever. But anyways, I bought during the sale 2 of this periwinkle colorway, and it's right here. I've only started using one of the balls, and I decided I want to make a blanket. Now my intentions in making the blanket was I wanted to make a, you know, a stitch that doesn't use too much yarn, something that will ensure that this is at least a baby blanket, because that's what I'm making, by baby blankets sized. I'm not sure I succeeded, but I do have more of the whites. So if I didn't succeed, that's why I started. I was going to start off with the whites, but I ended up starting off with the darker color, which is the periwinkle color, just because I have more whites I could add to it if I need to, and I think I won't need to. But anyways, this is the Peekaboo shawl. It's from Bag O' Day, and I fell in love with it, and it is not what I was looking for. Like, I was looking for something that would use a little bit of yarn but grow quickly. This is not it, but I just love it, and I had to make it, and I'm like, okay, I use that yarn. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm using that yarn and making another baby blanket. Isn't it so pretty? I'm loving this. Now her one is more dramatic, and part of me, after I had already started it and made a few rows, realized, hey, I have a lot of black. I could have put black in between. So she does 2 rows, so there's 1 row of shell, and then she changes color for the next row of shells. And so it's the one in her sample is like rainbow, then black here, and then rainbow, and then black. So the shells change color, and it's gorgeous. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted to use this yarn, and I thought, okay, I'll keep it consistent and just use this yarn. And now I'm thinking, I have a lot of black. I do. I have a lot. I could have maybe make it a lot bigger. But by using the black yarn in between and just having it. Anyways, it is what it is. I decided to do, it's not going to be solid. It's going to be like, I'll work up these 2 balls. I have 2 of these of this color, and then I'll work the marled one up, and then it'll be the white. And if I need to get extra white, I have extra white, because when I bought bobbins, I bought just a white roll. So I have extra white, so I could do that. But this is what I have to begin with. I do love, and I like working on it too. It's really nice. So this is the peekaboo shawl. So peekaboo shells, I believe. Now I'm not sure. Peekaboo shells blanket is what I think it is. I have to double check. Yeah, peekaboo shells blanket. This is it. I love it. I am enjoying making it. I haven't done much because I just started a couple of days. What did I start? Yesterday, I think. No, I started on Saturday. And I worked a lot on the Crochet Memory, not that one, the DK one. Crochet Memories blanket at the same time. But here it is. Isn't it pretty? I do like it. I can't wait to finish it. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to this week. Finished a few projects that you've already seen and started a couple more. No amigurumi. When I first came home from Montreal, all I wanted to do was make amigurumi, and now I'm like, okay, let's make other stuff. I do want to make a sweater. I will. I just haven't chosen a pattern that I want to make. I don't know what yarn to use. We'll see what happens. But meanwhile, this is what I have. Blankets and blanket. 2 blankets that I'm working on. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go because I'm thirsty. I just came home from work. I think Mondays is gonna be my new film day. Maybe. I don't know. It just seems like on Mondays I come home, I sit down, I film, and it gets done. If I'm on Saturdays and Sundays, I think because the house, my kids are here, my husband is here, this room is not as easily accessible because, you know, I have to wait for them, like they may be doing something here and I feel guilty getting them out. It just seems like when I am home alone on Monday, because my son has after school, so I haven't picked him up yet, it's just easier to film. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, my tripod broke. Okay, that tripod I've had for a very, very long time. It's one of those heavy duty tripods that was meant for the big cameras, which I don't use anymore, but I still have. I bought a tripod for that big, huge camera, and then when I started filming, I knew I was going to be filming on my phone, so I bought an adapter so that I could use my phone on that big, huge tripod. And when I say big, huge tripod, I mean like, imagine when you go to get your pictures taken in a professional studio and they have that big tripod. That is what I had. And it broke. Right now, I'm using my travel tripod, which is tiny and not really reliable because sometimes it sinks. I don't know. If you watched some videos last year, you might have known I redid a couple videos this summer because it started sinking. It's not very sturdy. It doesn't stand well. I have to like really hold it and get it ready. That's what I'm using right now. I might be reusing this always. I don't know. But I'm kind of sad my tripod broke. Anyways, I thought I'd just share it with you. I don't know if you're interested, but I'll share it. Anyways, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to hear more from me, please subscribe. Bye.